These are the voyages of the Star Trek Next Generation USS Enterprise with Lieutenant Worf, Chief of Security, Klingon Officer from Galoob Toys. We got, excuse me, we got Starfleet personnel, Worf, Lieutenant, Science Officer. Later, he was Security Officer. Later, he even had his own ship one time. His race is Klingon. I don't know why they say origin is Klingon. He was, anyway, a member of the warrior race that was once the mortal enemy of the Federation, but is now its ally. Lieutenant Worf operates, well, sometimes ally. Lieutenant Worf operates the science, environmental, and propulsion stations aboard the USS Enterprise starship. The personnel of Starfleet are glad to have his extraordinary powers on their side. Free for purchase, 1 mission point. Not sure what those are all about, but they used to have those back in the day. Stardate. Stardate. 41000.1. 78 years after the original missions on an all-new USS Enterprise, and our crew head out onto an all-new adventure. Their mission to protect and defend Earth, Federation star bases and colonies, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before. So, I just did a Star Wars video, so y'all won't be saying I don't discriminate. I'm also doing a Star Trek video, because I like both. Just like I like both Marvel and DC. Nothing wrong with that, right? I know there's galactic conflict between Star Wars and Star Trek, and galactic conflict between Marvel and DC, but I don't discriminate. There's also available is Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Where else do we know Captain Jean-Luc Picard? Oh yeah, he was in na 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 na. Close your ears if you don't want to hear a spoiler alert, but you probably are if you already seen it. The new Marvel movie, Multiverse of Madness. Sure, Professor X, Charles Xavier, guest stars. Boom. Close your ears if you didn't want to hear that. Now, also, there's Commander William Riker, or number 1. There's also Lieutenant Commander Data, which was pretty smart guy. Him and Spock are pretty good, smart people. Yoda's pretty smart too, but for some reason Yoda did not see Darth Sidious. I don't know how he could not have saw Darth Sidious when he's like in the other room. In some cases, he's like literally in the other room. And he's that politician working his way into power. Either Yoda, A, didn't see him, or B, just was like, I'm just going to allow it. Couldn't have been that dumb. Anyway, there's also Lieutenant Geordi LaForge. There's Lieutenant Tasha Yar, which had a little fling with Data. Actually took Data's virginity, I believe. And there's evil Ferengi leader. I don't know why they... See, Star Trek just doesn't like capitalism, because the Ferengi are supposed to be the capitalists, and they always think they're like evil or something. Star Trek supposedly, no offense, it's a liberal utopia. It's the Democrats' utopia. Star Trek is for the liberals. Star Wars is for conservatives, is what they say. So what's it say for someone who likes both? Well, it means they're a constitutional libertarian, because there's a lot of stuff about the Constitution and rights and stuff in Star Trek, and then there's an actual lot of libertarian values, not in Star Trek, but in Star Wars. And there's also a lot of constitutionalist kind of stuff in Star Wars. In both, there's a lot of constitutionalist stuff. Now, the difference is Star Trek is like way left, if you look at it mostly, while Star Wars is way right, if you look at it mostly. And if you notice, if you go extremely left or extremely right, what happens? Well, you have government control over everything. Star Trek universe, you have a military dictatorship, Starfleet, that essentially basically controls the Federation. Federation is the quote unquote civilian government, while Starfleet is the military branch of that government. While hardly anybody at all owns guns, and all the media is pretty much controlled by the Federation, and all the history, which I guess is why it's jumbled and different in the Star Trek universe. You know, you got sometimes the history says this, and sometimes it says that is the star date of something. Yeah, if you watch Star Trek, you notice that they don't always, from series to series, they don't always get the star dates of different historical events correct. It seems like maybe every once in a while, I don't know, Starfleet or the Federation or somebody uses a little bit of revisionist history. Sound like something Democrats might do? Oh, anyway, now in Star Wars, like literally everybody has guns. And crime is kind of rampant, but it's not really seen as crime in most cases. I mean, and in most cases, though, a corrupt political government that was a republic somehow became a galactic empire, which has a military controlled thing. Not saying the Empire is bad, and not saying Starfleet or the Federation is bad. But I'm pretty sure on both sides of the coin, the leaders of the Empire, like the Emperor, like some of the Grand Moffs, some of the Moffs, some of the political leaders that got that Empire into power, that got Palpatine into power, those people probably evil. But also the same people who created Federation, while they had the best of intentions, maybe originally were good, had the best of intentions. So what they say about the best of intentions, the world of hell is paved with the good intentions. Again, Federations in general, average people might not be bad. But the command structure, or the ones at the top, are probably bad, because what they say about power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Boom. Anyway, back to the unboxing, because that's what you want to see, right? You don't want to hear my commentaries. Actually, you probably do want to hear my commentaries. That's probably part of the reason why you are subscribed. Part of the reason why you watch the videos. Part of the reason why you watch these videos. Comment down below if you actually like. Maybe that's why some of my actual vlogs, where I talk about stuff, get more views than some of my actual toy unboxing videos get. Huh. Maybe it's because you really do want to hear my commentary about various different things coming into where it comes to politics, religion, and the like. Now, what did I just tell y'all, though? I told you, depending on far extreme left and far extreme right, well, both created a government that has a strong military to enforce their ways upon everybody. The only difference is, in one, Star Wars, the universe is more right-wing liberal, leaning capitalistic society, while in Star Trek, the world's more left-leaning socialist. Both end up with the same thing: a huge federal government. Huge. That literally might give some rights, but takes other rights away. They might because it looks like while there's free healthcare in Star Trek universe, nobody exactly has the right to refuse that healthcare, because as I see, doctors are literally just stabbing people with these cocktails of shots all the time on Star Trek. Who's to say what's in those? So while you have universal healthcare, no one's allowed to refuse vaccines. So you don't have the freedom of that. Now in Star Wars, you have a whole bunch of capitalism. So much capitalism that you have organized crime of capitalists, and you have a whole lot of corruption. Matter of fact, the corruption of the government is what, and of businesses, because they both got too powerful and too big, is because anything that gets too big and too powerful is bad, no matter which side of the coin it is. We're talking about left or right. Corporations got so powerful they had political power in the Star Wars universe. They had so much power they could start wars. And the federal government was so powerless to do anything about it that it led to one man having the ability to control literally the whole entire government. It was that corrupt that it led to that. That's corruption. Now, one might have all kinds of advanced technologies that are beneficial to humanity in the long run, while the other one might be having all kinds of technologies that cause war. Who's to say which one's right or wrong? They're both corrupt. They're both got good things and bad things within them. Something to think about. Anyway, that was easy to open. This phaser doesn't come off his hand. It's actually part of him. This is like done like about the size of a G.I. Joe action figure, originals. His head doesn't move. His feet can sit down like that, so that's kind of cool. These are actually done like that Grand Moff Tarkin figure that I actually ended an unboxing video of. He's about the same size of him. He has his Clea and sash. Only has 3 medals on it, but I'm pretty sure Worf has more. He's in a decent uniform. As you can see, you have a lot of freedoms when it comes to religion and a few other things and whatnot in Starfleet, but not in other things. You also have a lot of freedom in Star Wars when it comes to, money dealings. What I'm getting at, there's should be a balance. And that's where us constitutional libertarians lean. There's a balance. There should be a balance of between science and socialism. There should be a balance between capitalism and community for the community. One side of the coin, it's too corrupted to a degree where people don't care about people anymore. They only care about profits. The other side, it's too corrupted where people don't care about individual liberty anymore. They only care about the collective. There has to be some kind of balance. I hate to say a balance in the force, but yeah, there has to be a balance in the force of power between the individuals and the collective, and the politicians and the corporations and the social structures of society and the religious structures of morality, and of individual liberty. Because sometimes, actually all the time, all of these various vectors compete and cannot actually coexist with one another in some places unless both sides make compromises on the other. Anything that's to one extreme or the other extreme can be bad, because extremism is bad no matter what extremism. While Star Trek does have very good, it's always been political, it's always probably been leftist leaning political, but it does have fundamental moral values, and does bring about a lot of questions about such things, such as sexism, racism, and all kinds of other isms. They are in the show. It also brings a lot of values, and I would say both on the left and the right they would agree with some of these things, of philosophy, religion, morality, and it brings about a bunch of ideas regarding those. It also brings a bunch of points to personal liberties and the collective. Which one? It also brings about a lot of ideas of science, art, history, and pursuing what actually makes you happy. So in Star Trek, the pursuit of happiness exists. Star Wars, that pursuit of happiness exists. Pursuit of happiness exists. Religions exist in both. War machines exist in both. A political ideology that has become probably extremist one way or the other exists. Capitalism does exist in Star Trek. It's just extremely limited and controlled by the government, it seems like. While in the other case, it's extremely free, market, and open in Star Wars. The pursuit, the military, are the only ones who have the right to these extreme war machines that can literally take out whole entire planets and galaxies, and they have this. People who say, okay, Star Trek doesn't have that powerful of weapons are wrong. Star Trek has just as powerful weapons, and Starfleet has just as powerful weapons, if not in some cases even more powerful than in Star Wars. And Star Wars has extremely powerful weapons, and in some cases more so than Star Trek. They both have weapons that can blow up whole entire planets. They both have. They literally both have weapons. In one case, everybody has the weapons, and the governments, of course, all the different governments kind of have the ability to create these weapons. I mean, the Rebel Alliance has stole the Death Star plans. If they wanted to, and with the proper financing, could build their own Death Star. They could use those plans both to destroy a Death Star and build one. So, yeah. Just going to throw that out there. Not everybody in the Rebel Alliance is probably good guys. There's probably some corrupt people in there too that probably are working on building their own Death Star. I'm just saying. So there's, like, seriously, there's planet destroying technology. in both. There's literal space stations in both. There's literally alien races all over the galaxy in both. Some cases, I think both have freedom of religion. Both have, in one case, both have kind of a limited form of freedom of speech. It's a little bit limited. In both cases, the government is kind of limiting free speech. I would say that's one thing that's destroyed. And in, of course, the Star Trek universe, the weapons are all the weapons are in the military's hand or the government's hand for the most part. Starfleet, Federation decides who's trained, equipped, whatever, to use said weapons. In Star Wars, I mean, like, literally, for some reason, somehow everybody knows how to fly spaceships. But it's kind of like in our world where almost everybody knows how to drive a car. If you're living in a universe where literally there's spaceships all over the place, you probably would learn how to drive a spaceship early in life. Just like on Earth, we're driving cars early in life. Now, in some cases, some spaceships might require more technical knowledge than others, but it looks like, for the most part, in Star Trek, a lot of people can drive spaceships too. Now, the warships, again, problem with that is in Star Wars, just about anybody can build whatever kind of ships they want. So, looks like while both universes probably do have scientists, they do have investigations, they do have all kinds of stuff of that nature, both universes again have governments or of some sort that are suppressing the truth from the people in cases, and in other cases they're not. So they're letting people know what they want them to know, pretty much, in a lot of cases. You do see that there are free speech in both, but you do see that it's limited free speech, if you do notice. You do see that in one case the government has way a lot of power, in another case the government doesn't have a whole lot of power. It looks like in Star Trek universe that the government has way more power. It looks like in Star Wars universe the government hasn't quite got to that point yet where they have that power. And the problem is, well, again, too many individuals having the ability to be able to do just about everything the government can do. It's pretty much perfect libertarianism right there. When it comes, it's like extreme right wing libertarianism. Well, Star Trek, I wouldn't say it's extreme left leaning, but when it comes to socialistic tendency and what's best for the collective, and then individual liberties. It comes to individual liberties when it comes to like stuff like what you're going to pursue to do in your life, and like your sexuality, and no one cares what you look like kind of deal, because and men and women can both have the same positions and same ranks and can make their way through, so no one really sees you from a sex position either. So when it comes to sexuality and race relations and individual liberties of what you want to do with your life, from a personal standpoint, that's like you can pursue what makes you happy and from art, literature, music, that kind of stuff. Then again, fashion, not so much. Maybe fashion on like the individual, but uniform when working for everybody wears the same basic uniforms. color coded too, so kind of simple-ish fashion. And people don't wear too many medals. Then again, Star Wars, when you're in the military, again, also uniforms, simple. No fashion. People aren't wearing that many medals. So, the militaries, I would say the militaries are about the same. One might be considered, and both probably would be pretty considered fascist. To a degree, both would probably be considered fascist. Only difference is in one, the military's like got a lot of weapons and they're not afraid to use it. Other ones, the military's got a lot of weapons, but they don't want to try to use them. They want to try to create peaceful cooperation or whatnot. I don't know. I have commentaries about the universes in general. Also, of course, most of the time people are going to try to go, well, the main difference is one star. One is Star Trek is science fiction, so it emphasizes science more. While that's true, and the other one's science fantasy, so it emphasizes fantasy more. While that is true, both are highly political. They are both highly political. They are extremely political. One is extremely politically right leaning. Ironically, it's right leaning in its politics. Ironically, George Lucas is a Democrat and left leaning in his individual politics. But his show, in general, is extremely right leaning in its politics. While Star Trek, also, this is probably very ironic, was created by Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry was a police officer. Not saying that a police officer can't be a liberal, but I'm saying that he was a traditionalist police officer. Probably part of a believer in the original civil rights era, like Martin Luther King and them. That being said, he's more likely to have been a conservative, a Republican of nonetheless, because those are the ones who started the original civil rights movements. Martin Luther King himself was a conservative. So here's the so for the ironic part, Star Trek, while it's left leaning, like, and especially originally not so much, but developed further into it. Developed by more than likely a conservative traditional Republican who was a police officer, Gene Roddenberry. Star Wars, on the other hand, became and still has become more right-leaning and was developed by a protester of war, a war protester, who's always been a liberal Democrat. Isn't that ironic? That's ironic. Anyway, remember, guys, good all the time. All the time, guys, good. Keep on gaming. Comment down below what y'all think about some of these Star Wars, Star Trek, political, philosophical, religious, whatever differences that exist in there. Anyway, remember, guys, good all the time, guys, good. Jesus loves you, Jesus God, Jesus Lord, Jesus King, Jesus ruler everything. Have a great, wonderful day. And an unboxing video should not take that long, but apparently I started rambling and ranting, and you're probably not even listening to it this far. But if you like commentaries, rants and raves and vlogs and whatnot of that kind of nature, you should also subscribe, because I give you things to think about. And I'm always up for discussion, debate, deliberation, whatever, in the comments. So go ahead, blam, get in there, Let's do this. And boldly go where no YouTube channel has gone before. Or actually, a lot of them go that way. I mean, I'm subscribed to leftist YouTube channels. I'm subscribed to right-leaning YouTube channels. I'm subscribed to women. I'm subscribed to men. I'm subscribed to Star Wars channels. I'm subscribed to Star Trek channels. I'm subscribed to Marvel channels. I'm subscribed to DC channels. I'm subscribed to action figure channels. I'm subscribed to board game videos, board game channels. I'm subscribed to so many different channels. It's just, I mean, it's just so many. I'm subscribed to comic channels, science fiction channels, science fantasy channels, science channels, actual real science channels. Like, just the list of my subscriptions are just, I got so many. I got more. I'm subscribed to more people that have subscribers. That's what I'm just trying to say. So subscribe. Matter of fact, I just looked at it the other day, which I really honestly don't care. I'm just gotten used to saying like, comment, subscribe, share. But I got almost 1,000 subscribers. And I looked at it, 95% of my videos are watched by non-subscribers. 95% of my videos are watched by non-subscribers. Now I just saw that. I actually told someone who has 100,000 plus subscribers, doesn't even lean the same political way as I do. It's actually a Star Trek channel. If you like Star Trek, you may know him. Steve something. Steve something. He's Star Trek channel. Diehard liberal. Diehard Democrat. Very passionate about pretty much the exact opposite things that I'm passionate about as a conservative. But I literally told him. And Republicans, diehard conservative channels, you can do the same. But I told him to put his money where his mouth was and actually run for Congress. He has 100,000 subscribers. 120,000 subscribers, actually. That's a lot. I don't even have 1,000 yet. So, bear with me. Now, if 5% is 1,000 for me, and 95% is otherwise, I have 20,000 people watching the channel. Probably more than that, because not the same people are always watching the same videos, but that's conservative guesstimation math here. He has 120,000. If we just say he has 100,000, and he has the same view watch ratio as I do, between, say, his subscribers are his 5%, which again aren't watching every video. So now, if they were watching every video, yeah, that algorithm of I just said would actually make mathematical sense. This is just guesstimation, estimation type deal here. It's actually higher because this is if every subscriber watched every video equally as my non-subscribers did, which is probably not the case in either case. But just from, say he had 100,000 subscribers, if his 100,000 is 5%, then 2 million is his total percent. 95% if he has the same analytics as me, which probably he does. Probably everybody has around the same amount. I don't know. Some cases they're 50-50, which is good for that person, I suppose. I mean, it's kind of might be better to have more people watching your videos that aren't subscribed, because that way they might be able to subscribe, than it is to have only subscribers watching your videos because you're not creating any new subscribers if only subscribers are watching your video. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But again, he has 2 million people, plus or minus. More likely plus, just like me. I have 20,000 people, plus or minus. 19. Watch it. I could actually have more than that because you really can look and see how many people have actually watched, how many hours are watched. That's another way to look at it, but I'm not looking at it from that perspective. I'm looking at it from a different perspective. But if you see from that other perspective of what I'm saying is, we're looking at him having 2 million watchers. Let's just give him a conservative estimate that at least half of them somewhat believe closely to what he believes. That leaves him 1 million people that can, if he could get that million just in his local area, he'd probably win an election. If he could get just 100,000, he could probably win an election. If he could get the million to like at least donate where he could push his message far enough, he could probably win. From a mathematical standpoint, these individuals who talk about politics or whatever on their channel could probably win election, whether they were Republican, Democrat, or Libertarian, or Constitutionalist, or whatever. If they have enough subscribers. Now, that being said, we don't do our elections the way they do over in another country. See, in another country, they have a certain amount of political parties, and you're guaranteed a certain amount of seats for every political party based on population of how many people. We do it differently here, where here we do it electoral votes and we do it individual districts. If we got rid of individual districts and we did it like, I think it's Germany or some other country that does it this way, but they take into consideration the whole entire country's population. So if there's, say, 100,000 of this political party, and the rules require for every 50,000 of one particular political party, they get one member in office for that political party. They would get 2 members, even if all 100,000 of those people were scattered amongst everywhere, not all in one location. See, in America, our political system works where everybody has to be in one location and then vote that way, and then the majority wins. And in America, the majority wins by a very extreme, in most cases, no matter where you live. For the most part, you either have landslide victories, and that's usually local. But when it comes to our federal and our state, we have a whole lot, even a lot of our locals now, local elections are extremely, I mean, they're so close. They're are tight-knit, close, so really close. We have a lot of elections which come down to like literally almost what's considered a swing vote, because we are so polarized in the United States that between Republican and Democrat, really, that there's just literally only a few votes, maybe a few thousand or whatever, that swing the election one way or the other. It's just that way. Then again, we're a nation where probably half to less than half the population actually vote. So that's something to think about too. Go vote. Go vote. If more people voted, we could create more parties. We could effect more change. Go vote. Don't just vote. No. See, don't just vote. Get involved in the political process. Get involved in what's going on. Get knowledgeable about what's going on. Then vote. People like to talk about it, but then they don't effectively do anything about it. That's what I'm getting at. People like to talk, but not many people want to actually walk the walk. Anyway, have a great day. More freaking commentary. Oh my lord. The unboxing video should not be over 40 minutes long. Oh, me. God is good all the time God is good. Jesus loves Jesus God, Jesus Lord, Jesus King, Jesus rule everything. Shoot. I'm just freaking rambling on now. Check out this other thing I got in general, Zod figure. I did an unboxing video of it, so go check it out. I got these two Marvel and DC figures, Harley Quinn and Xialing. Go check that unboxing of that out too. And of course, as always, God's good all the time. All the time, God's good. Jesus loves Jesus, God, Jesus Lord, Jesus King, Jesus ruler, everything. Have a great, wonderful day. And stay tuned for further videos. I'm pretty much done for the day. Starting to talk myself. I'm even talking myself out where I'm getting tired of talking and saying things. And whether this reaches anybody or not, that's just cool. Oh well. My bed and room has more light. That's why I changed venue. That's the only other reason. Later.